Out of all the words that I dislike, the one that makes me the most uncomfortable is love. Hello all you crevice dwellers, Julian here for D-News. Have you ever heard a word that just gives you the heebie-jeebies? Just some word you can't stand hearing because you have a visceral reaction to it. And I don't mean because the word is overused and abused, like literally or ironic, and I don't mean because it's a swear or potty talk. I mean a mostly innocent word that's minding its own business, doing its wordy thing, giving form to an idea, and you just hate this thing. A word like moist. A study published in PLOS One in April suggested that 10 to 20% of you just cringed or even felt physically ill when I said moist. This is what psychologists call word aversion, the phenomenon when a word itself feels unpleasant or disgusting. The reason for why certain words elicit that response is still not fully understood, but there are a lot of competing hypotheses. One that was explored in the PLOS One study was the idea that some words just have a bad combination of sounds. They just don't sit right when we say or hear them or even think about them. Indeed, participants in the study who were moist averse were more likely to say that was why they didn't like moist. It was also speculated that the very face shape necessary to make those sounds contributed to how people felt about certain words. They have an exceptional mouthfeel. But the results supported a different hypothesis, namely that people don't like the word because of its connotation with sex, genitalia, or bodily functions. Across 5 experiments, the results showed that despite the reasons people speculated they didn't like the word moist, usually they disliked words with related connotations like damp or wet, especially after being primed to think about sex or bodily functions. They were even more okay with moist itself when first primed to think about cake. Meanwhile, words with similar sounds like hoist and rejoiced were rated as much more innocuous. Not all studies agree with these findings. Others have concluded that just the sounds of certain words conjure up strange feelings. Baylor College of Medicine neuroscientist David Eagleman conducted experiments using made-up words and found the sounds of some were rated as more unpleasant by participants than others. Dr. Eagleman suggests that something akin to synesthesia is at work, when senses blend together and certain words cause a visual or emotional reaction. This would help explain why many words with a naughty association, like panties, are almost vomit-inducing to some, while totally innocent words like crevice, ointment, and fiduciary are repellent to others. But the science on word aversion is fairly unexplored. Most of the data gathered has been in the form of simple surveys asking people to rank or list their least favorite words. And if you couldn't tell, I was trying to jam in as many of those words into this episode as I could. Moist sits atop the list though, dripping down over the damp cornucopia of other repugnant locutions below it. And its popular unpopularity gives rise to another possibility. Maybe all the moist hate is just a fad. Maybe so many people dislike moist because so many people dislike moist. It's become a cultural phenomenon at this point, having appeared as a plot point in a couple TV shows like How I Met Your Mother and Dead Like Me. In a few years or decades, maybe we'll all move on and irrationally hate some other poor word that was just doing its job. My vote is for gorgeous. If you don't like the word moist because of its relationship with sex and sexuality, Lacey Green made many a great video for D-News back in the day that may help you come to terms with it. Like this one, wherein she talks about literal boners.
Most mammals have a penis bone instead. Various primates, rodents, bats, bears, cats, dogs, they all have them. The largest baculum in the animal kingdom belongs to a walrus, and it reaches up to 30 inches long, which doesn't sound too cute if I'm being honest.
Are there any weird words you can't stand hearing? Go ahead and secrete them at us down in the comments, subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time on D-News.